Hello, welcome to STEM with Mr. Duda. This is a second part of a series about quadcopters, where I'll be teaching you a lot of different things from what quadcopters are used for, what they are, how they're made, the different parts that make them up, the laws that govern them, and maybe some fun ways that you would like to use them. So stick around. If you haven't watched the first series, I would suggest going back to the first, episode, and where I talk about what quadcopters are and what drones are, and then come on back. Okay? All right. All right. So in the first sort of episode of this, I did talk about what we'll be talking about throughout this series. I talked about what quadcopters are and what drones are and how they're similar and different. And I'll be talking about what quadcopters are used for in this video, as well as the types of quadcopters. And in a future video, I'll talk to you about the different parts of a quadcopter, how you can get started. I have some really good tips on that. And then some of the laws you should be aware of. So the previous video did talk about these things. So go back if you're interested in learning about the different types, as well as what a drone is and how a quadcopter could be a drone and sort of the legality around that. Now, I do not say I'm an expert on the law, so I will talk about that later, but you should check out the FAA website for anything dealing with legality of flying these, and I do not claim to be an expert on that. So let's talk about today the reasons for using quadcopters and the different types of quadcopters. So first of all, the reasons. A lot of people like them just to be able to capture cool pictures or nice videos, maybe of something special that they're doing, or maybe they're selling their house, or they just want to have a good memory. Maybe they go on vacation and they want some amazing shots of themselves, maybe riding their bike or, whatever. We've seen those videos online. You've probably seen them in movies. They're really, really nice and they're really cool, but there's a lot more that we can use them for. So scientists, people, use them with special sensors. For instance, if we look here on the screen, it says the Marching Bear Mound Group in high definition LiDAR. So what we've been able to find is things that the human eye can't see and normal pictures haven't been able to see. Maybe there would be, in the South American rainforest, they've got thick trees. Now, this isn't in South America, but they've got thick trees over the rainforest, but they're able to use LiDAR, which is a laser being shined down and bouncing back, and they're able to take better pictures through the plants to be able to see not exactly, but to get a better picture of what is under the forest floor. So we're able to use different sensors and get a lot of really cool information. We also use it for real-time surveillance. So if there are riots or protests or a large event going on, the police might use it. They'll fly it around, make sure everyone's okay. Maybe they'll fly it closer to the crowd at an angle where they can see a little bit better. And they can also record videos in case someone is breaking the law. Then they can collect that evidence to make sure that person gets in trouble for breaking the law. The military uses them as well. They have surveillance quadcopters. Some militaries actually have a little helicopter that they now sort of toss into the air and it'll fly itself. It's much more of a drone, but you can definitely use quadcopters for military purposes, especially surveillance, along with security. Maybe if I owned a warehouse or something and I needed some surveillance around it, possibly I would have normal video cameras to record, but a quadcopter could be added to that to be able to go check out a specific spot, and especially to keep people out of harm's way and to collect some information. The biggest reason why I like quadcopters is for the fun aspect of it. You can race and you can do freestyle, and I'll link some videos below of that sort of flight. If you've seen the video of me flying through my classroom, I'll have that linked below. That's one example of it, and it's a lot of fun. And so let's talk about the different types of quadcopters, because a lot of people, when they think of quadcopter or drone, they think of these DJI Phantoms, the sort of just a flying camera sitting up there. And there are some really, really cool quadcopters. These are great. These are amazing for what they are. But the racing and freestyle quadcopters are on a totally different level. So this is hobby based, going to the hobby level of this, where we're really, we're building our own quadcopters and being able to do some amazing things with them. So the main types of quadcopters, and there are a lot of different types of quadcopters out there. I'm sure there are, ones on this list that people totally wouldn't agree with. They'd say, "Oh, you're missing a lot." That's fine, and that would be awesome if you want to comment in the comments below. But these are the main ones that I've come across getting into this hobby. So to start off is the Tiny Whoop, and these are amazing. They're lightweight. They have the plastic around the propeller to protect you. That way, if you run into something, that something is less likely to get hurt. Obviously, if you land on someone's hair, that's going to hurt them. But it works amazingly well. Also, it saves your propellers from being broken and the motors from being burned out. This one is a Mobulus 6 HD. What it does is it has an HD camera on it. When you fly it, you're wearing a headset and you're seeing through that camera, and it's recording to an SD card on here, a micro SD card, in full HD. It's absolutely amazing. You can get really, really good shots. That's what I recorded the one flying through my classroom. And if you haven't seen it, check out the playlist. It's on there, okay? Moving forward to the larger quadcopters, there are 3-inch and 4-inch, 5-inch quadcopters. Now, what I mean by that is, for instance, this is a 4-inch quadcopter. That means that the propeller is 4 inches long. Okay, this is a 5-inch. That means if I was able to measure from here, and then I swung it around over here and measured to here, it would be 5 inches. Okay, so it's probably 2.5 inches from the center point to the end. This is a long-range 4-inch quadcopter made in partnership with Flywoo and Dave C on YouTube. And it is sort of a new class that's coming up. Normally we would have 7-inch long-range quadcopters. Very big, very heavy, pretty expensive, and you're flying them long range. If you crash them and lose them, that's a lot of money that you could lose. Also, something that heavy falling from the sky could cause a decent amount of damage. This is much lighter. It's less regulated by the government because it is lighter. It's less likely to cause that damage. And it can get up to half-hour flight times, I've seen. Absolutely amazing. This is a Flywoo Explorer LR. I ordered one and it was actually back ordered. I was told that basically I was not going to get it for at least a few months. So I ended up canceling my order so I could order a different one, which you'll see on a future video. But I would love one of these. One day I hope to, hopefully they're back in stock and I can order it. So long range quadcopters, nice and light. This one, nice and light, can go long distances. And I'm talking like 6 miles away. But look into the legality of that. Okay. And then 5-inch quadcopters, they're typically used for freestyle or racing. So when you're seeing those videos of people doing flips over things and spinning around and going around like a big building and flipping and all that stuff, or doing the actual races, sort of like the Star Wars when they were going through the woods on those flying vehicles, those are the 5-inch quadcopters. Now the technology is getting there where 3-inch ones can perform that way. Some would disagree with me, and I'm sure that's not a perfect answer, but the 3-inch are flying extremely well. 5 inches, maybe they're better. My skill level, I'm not going to notice it yet, okay? Then there are the drones with automation. So these are like the DJIs, the ones that basically you connect to the controller, to your cell phone as sort of a viewing window, and then you just tell it to do something, and it'll fly. And they're great, and they get amazing video, amazing pictures, but they're not as sort of the raw power that you can get out of these. Now, maybe there are like an expert mode that you can run them on and really fly them hard and do the flips and all that stuff. I don't know enough about that. However, I would imagine when you're learning to do all of that, this one's about $100, right? You crash that, it's not very likely to break because of what it is. But if you crash it, it's very cheap to fix compared to if you crash this. All right. If you crash this, maybe you break an arm, maybe break a propeller or the antenna off, you can replace those for relatively cheaply. Same with these, right? The propellers, maybe they're $3 each or something. The separate arm might be $6 each. The antenna might be $10. Something like this, you break an arm off, I don't know. Maybe you're looking at $100 to fix it, or maybe you can't fix it yourself. So these are really nice to buy if you're really looking to do sort of the flips, the freestyle, the amazing type of stuff where you might crash, right? But then you can fix it and it won't cost as much. Now, there is more that you have to buy than just these, and I will talk about that in a future video. So please check out the next video, and I hope to see you soon.